Welcome back. Welcome in to the Lions Share podcast. Walkthrough Wednesday edition, Lions versus the Chargers this week, and an emphasis on the welcome in to the new shareholders out there because there's been a lot of you as of late. So stick around, be a friend, tell a friend, rate us 5 stars, all that good stuff. The Lions, as we mentioned, heading out west to LA to take on the 4-4 Los Angeles Chargers. Will there be lightning bolts between these two high-flying offenses? Well, stick around and find out. We're going to be doing Lions versus Chargers preview. Then we'll take you through every matchup in Week 10. Hard to believe that we're in the double digits already in this NFL season. And we'll finish with college football talk and closing time. So, first of all, welcome back, Andrew, after his disappearance last episode. We're so glad to have you back, and happy belated birthday once again. Mitch and I laid out a roadmap for the second half of the season for the Lions. We gave our records prediction and a floor. I believe is what we did. So now we got to go to you. You weren't here. So what do you got for us in the second half of the season for the Lions? What's your record prediction?
I think they still have a tough road ahead of them. The schedule doesn't show that, boys and girls. But you got to beat the Chargers. Ben, what do we say?
Good teams win out of the bye.
Thank you very much. You got to win this game or it's egg in everybody's face. And then you're looking at the division pretty much riding it out in one of the worst divisions in non-conference opponents. So got Bears, Packers, win-win. Saints win because we know those boys. We can't trust them. Bears win. Bronx dub. And then I think they split with the Cowboys Vikings. Take a loss on those Cowboys Vikings and then beat the Vikings in either the first or last game of the season.
Okay, so if I'm doing the math correctly, that's 6 more wins to finish them out at 12.
Correct.
Okay, so calling it 6 of the last 9. Is that what I'm getting? Is the 9 games left, right?
Yeah, should be. We're at 8,
Okay.
6-2, 17 total this year.
Because those longtime shareholders out there, if they remember from last year, it was about this point in the season when Andrew had the infamous 5 of 5 or the 4 of 5, I believe, and that ended up being 5 of 5, if I remember correctly. And at the time, the 405 Warriors this week, I got 405 right next to the 405 in LA. A lot of 405s, a lot of fun, clever plays we can make there. But the 405 from last year, yeah, who could forget that? And at the time, everybody was kind of calling you crazy, Andrew. And then what did the Lions do? They ended up winning 4 of 5, if not 5 of 5, if I remember correctly. So you calling for 6 of 9, and I put so much trust in you for that.
I will say this, and it's not going to sound like a crazy thing like it was last year. I think I called for him to knock on the door of the playoffs to not count him out. I will say confidently this year, I think we're going to the playoffs, boys.
Okay. All right. I like that. Nothing's to be assumed. Nothing's guaranteed. You're not going to hear that from me. Although, I'm sure you guys saw it, but the New York Times, I think, officially started to do the playoff predictor now as we enter Week 10. I don't know if you guys saw what the Lions percentage is at. I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx it, but did you guys see what the New York Times has the Lions playoff chances at? Well, go
100?
ahead and look that up. Might as well be.
Probably gotta be in the 90s. I mean, if you look at the NFC North and the strength of schedule, if my guess would be 92.
No, Andrew was closer with 100. I'll put it that way.
But Price is Right rules. Andrew loses, I win.
I'm giving you a hint at what the numbers might be.
Why don't you just tell us?
I don't want to jinx it, but it's
95?
99%. Tommy censored that.
Oh, okay. Well, that seems good.
Yeah, based on strength of schedule down the stretch. And I mean, we all know that the Lions' second half season is not daunting at all. But neither is the Vikings. So I think you got to get to 12 wins if you're the Lions and to feel comfortable about knocking the Vikings out and ruining any Josh Dobbs magic down the stretch.
I almost hate to root for the man, and we'll get to it and everything, but we better shut him down.
Early and often. If it's not going to be us, it's got to be somebody else, but who better than the Lions to close that door hard, right? Yeah, so Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, everybody, for voting in the poll. We had a poll up on Instagram for how many wins you had the Lions finishing the season with, and most people. I was actually surprised. A lot of people in the 10 to 11 category, and not the 12 to 13. Thought that was a little bit surprising. I thought the Kool-Aid was strong and stronger than that, certainly. But low expectations lead to greater results, I think, in my book.
I think that maybe
I'm
just a
I'm
touch of
disappointed.
optimism.
Just a hint, just a little pinch of optimism. I think it's there. I think we just got some haters on the IG. That's all. Yeah, you people, you know who you are. Let's talk about this matchup here with the Los Angeles Chargers, the formerly known as the San Diego Superchargers. We've got a 4:05 matchup, as mentioned. This one's CBS. So the first time of the year that the Lions will be on CBS, not on Fox. So for you channel surfers out there, remember this one's on CBS, and that means we're getting Jim Nance and Tony Romo on the call. So we've got the A team on it for this game here against the Chargers. So CBS obviously thinking that this is their best option. So they're sending the best crew out there. So we've got Romo and we've got Nance. We've got Lions sitting at 3-point favorites as it sits right now against the Chargers. This was at 1 on Sunday, now moved up to 3. Interestingly enough, after the Chargers put a hurting on the Jets, this actually goes up. But we think that's probably related to the fact that, you know what, the Lions are at full strength or very, very close to it. They didn't practice today, Wednesday. They practiced Tuesday, and all 53 players on the active roster were in practice, in full practices. We had a couple limited practices, and that was Big V and Donovan Peoples-Jones. So undetermined if we'll see DPJ make his debut this week against the Chargers or if that'll come a week later against the Bears. But it's great to see. How great does that sound to your ears, Andrew and Mitch? I mean, how great does that sound to see how far we've come in the injury department?
Yeah, we talked about it while Andrew was gallivanting Sunday. The team hasn't been healthy since week 1, so I think it's really exciting. I'm going to talk about it a little bit in my keys to the game, so don't steal my notes, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see what a healthy Lions roster can do.
With Big V coming back, does that mean Graham gets kicked out of it? I mean, he's been playing at a high level. I don't know what you guys have to say about it.
This was going to be my next point. Dan said today that he thinks Graham has done enough to earn the starting job. So it sounds like Graham Glasgow is going to be your right guard of the future.
I 100% agree. I mean, stepped up in a big way last week, moving over to center and did a good job. And that run game is just in a good spot with him out there. So I don't think you can switch it up right now.
So excited to see David Montgomery back. Speaking of the running game, it's not 100% official that he's going to be back, but he is back at practice. So one can assume that David Montgomery will be back, and we'll have the full two-headed monster of the backfield again with Gibbs and Montgomery, which just makes me giddy because that's what bye weeks are for, to get your team healthy, and the Lions did just that, and it's great. Going to need to remain healthy down the second half of the stretch here of the season because this is when the push happens. So, coming into this game, the Chargers have yet to win a game where they didn't score 24 plus. So, a little note there for you shareholders out there. In this matchup, obviously Brandon Staley, head coach of the Chargers, versus Dan Campbell, head coach of the Lions. Two guys that love to go for it on fourth down. So I posed this question to you all. I've got the line here at 5. How many times do you think we're going to see both these teams combined go for it on fourth down in this game?
Are you asking us to take over under on your line, or do you want us to make our own line?
This podcast is your oyster, sir. Do what you want.
Well, if we're going based off your line, I'm going to take the over. Give me the over. I could very easily see between the two. I mean, I hate to say it, but Patterson pushed basically a 2-yarder, and he was playing well up to that point. But I think DC just doesn't have the patience for it. So I could easily see again. I take the over. If the line is 5, I take the over.
I'm going to have to play devil's advocate on that. I'm going to take the under. Dan's a situational guy, so Dan never really forces having to go for it on fourth. Staley, however, is just kind of out there.
This feels like
He gets you off your toes. People are expecting it. Dan doesn't do it when people are expecting it.
this feels like a
I
matchup
don't
where you
know.
go for it. You're going to see him go for it more often against a team that puts up a lot of points. He knows he's going to have to put up points and not field goal or touchdowns and not field goals, right?
Let me piggyback on that really quick. Andrew, have you not found yourself, and if the answer is no, that's fine. At any point at all, have you found yourself saying, "Damn it, I wish we would have kicked that field goal"? Because I certainly a couple times this year have said those exact words, like, "Yeah, you got to take the points."
Ben and I talked about it so many times last year, and I think where it really came back to haunt us was US Bank Stadium, the cursed stadium early in the year, where it was like, just please, Dan, on those opening drives, take points. God, man, just take points. So to your point, I concede that.
There's definitely like the whole mantra. I think we talked about it after I went to the Lions game and I saw someone with the shirt, and I think I texted you guys too. Fourth down and who gives a fuck? Like that mantra sometimes is incredible, but when it gets to me a little bit is when they're 50 and in on a field goal in a low scoring game. It's like, yeah, feels like we got to take them sometimes.
I think that's the biggest hurt from Riley missing that one kick last week, the short one, right? We said that he makes the 52-yarder for that was tipped, but he misses the I think it was like 30 something, maybe shorter.
Shorter than an
It's like
extra point.
27, I think.
But like that, right? Like that's it. Like I don't care if you make the long ones. Like leave that for Justin Tucker. Just be 100% 50 and in.
Yeah, I will say though, I would have loved to known like what there's got to be a stat cast. Like how good was that 52-yarder going to be good from? Because the fact that that got tipped and still cleared, that may have been good from 60 plus.
Andrew doesn't believe that, but
Andrew disagrees, but I'm just thinking if it gets tipped, the velocity to still make it over on 52 yards.
we're gonna have to bring in a math expert on that one because that's not my forte.
We need to do like the thing they do on game day where they pick a random person out of the crowd and make them humiliate. The three of us should do that. I feel like we'd make an absolute just disaster embarrassment of ourselves.
I mean, do I get to bring my steel toe boots?
Yeah, hey, whatever floats your boat.
Okay, cool.
Talking about the El Paso Kickers?
Do they wear steel toe?
No, the boots you got from El Paso.
Oh no, that's composite toe, dog. Get with it.
Not be
Ben, you fool.
Yeah, I'm such an idiot. Fucking idiot. Speaking of idiots, you guys are both, well, I think we're all three of us are probably in this camp, but Brandon Staley haters here. So how do you feel in this coaching matchup as far as going up against old BS?
Ben might be your best nickname yet there, honestly. I don't know if I'm a known Chargers hater or if it's just because Brandon Staley's put his stamp on the team the last few years and it's really just his identity, or if it's the fact that the media keeps picking him to go all the way and, they fall short year after year because Justin Herbert isn't as good as everybody says. Do I have to say any more on how much I hate this team?
No, I think that just about does it.
Their lightning bolt is shaped like a frown. I wanted to get that out.
Yeah, I think we are. Ben, you said it. Like we're all like Brandon Staley's just not a good coach. Like I think it's got to be his last year.
He shaved the beard though.
That beard looked like he just like legit forgot to shave.
That's what this is right here.
That's just about what it was. He had a few more whites in there though.
Didn't need to make it about that, but he's doing the reverse no shave November, I guess. He went with the shave November. I get it. Brandon Staley just doesn't know how to read a calendar, doesn't know how to read a play sheet. So we're feeling pretty good about the coaching matchup here against the Chargers. But the Chargers are no joke. Certainly a great team. Maybe not a great team, a good team. They're 4-4. They've got some good things to say about them. So let's talk about the keys to the game, shall we? Per usual, I wrote way too much, and even what you're seeing way too much. Even what you're seeing on the Google Doc is a condensed version of what I did have written down. So let me try to make my keys quick. My biggest one: manage the game, manage the clock. Time of possession is going to be key in this game against a prolific offense. Run the ball, have some long drives, play defense with your offense. The Chargers like to sit back in zone and bait the throws, so Goff's got to be sharp. Score in the red zone. We need points against this team. Mentioned that they score a lot of points. They've had 30. They've had a lot of their games in 20. They've won every game that they've played. Haven't won a game where they haven't scored 24 plus. And special teams. They had a kick return or a punt return, I believe, against the Jets on Monday night. So special teams, FIP, got to be strong. And Jack Fox flipped the field with those punts. And we've got a new long snapper in there. So remember that, folks. New long snapper there in the punting.
The problem when you go first is you name everything. Like you list everything about the game. Every aspect of the game. You're like, they just got to do, all 18 phases. That's where they got to win, boys.
All
and
right,
then
next
me
week,
and Andrew are
next week against the Bears.
From
Next week against the Bears, I'm having one.
And for a little behind the scenes for the shareholders, mine's 2 sentences here. I got a couple abbreviations in there, even to short it up some more. Pretty simple from me. We're coming out of the bye. Punish LA early, right? I talk about it all the time. Score on your opening drive, get a stop on your opening defensive possession. Need to get points on the board early and often. Make LA play from behind. I've said it too many times. Brandon Staley is a bad team. And when our defense is playing with a lead, it is elite and it's scary. And that defensive line, Aiden Hutchinson, I'm sure he still leads the league in pressures. Keep it up.
I'm also going to try and go a little concise. I think take care of the ball and capitalize on opportunities. Those were 2 big misses against the Raiders. They should have won that game by a lot more. And Gibbs and Montgomery haven't really been featured as a dual backfield yet this year, when Gibbs has been kind of feeling it. So let those 2, get going early, establish the run early, take some pressure off Goff, and then you open up the pass game later on. But take care of the ball, capitalize when the points are there. Let the boys eat out of the backfield.
Let them
Mitchell,
cook.
I love that. I want to see those 2 I want to see those 2 go off.
Whoa. Wait a minute.
Tommy might actually have to do some cutting on this episode, folks. Holy cannoli.
Oh boy, I feel
Talk about your all-time Freudian
Andrew's back,
slips.
and we're a little bit slap happy here.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's in this
Brandon
tea.
Staley is a bad team, though. That's a good point.
That was I
He
knew
puts
what you
his
meant.
stamp on it.
Look, as a fellow wordsmith myself, I can empathize with what Andrew went through there. I don't know what you keep holding up. Saturn? Oh, star readings. My apologies. Took a week off of it from the bye week, so yeah, we didn't have a star reading. What do you got for us for Sunday?
Yeah, not sure if you guys are going to want to know this, but as of November 4th, Saturn went direct. You know what that means?
Oh God.
That's coming out of a 6-month retrograde, boys. Heavy feelings of responsibility, but clear-minded. We're going to bring direction to our goals, and efforts are going to start paying off. You know what that tells me? We're coming out of this bye week fresh. We're coming in. We're going to put a stamp on it. And the last little bit of note I got is, don't slow down. Finish out this season strong and take it into the playoffs. Stars are aligning.
Step on the throat.
Love it.
And twist your way into the playoffs. Yeah. All right. We've got the over-under sitting at 48.5 in my prediction. I'm going to take the over on that. If I'm doing my math correctly, I've got the Lions 34 points. First time they'll be over 30 in a little bit here. And the Chargers are going to get above 24. They're going to get 27. But I'm talking about a Lions victory here, 34-27 over the Chargers, 7-2 going into the week against the Bears.
I'm going to take a little more modest approach to it. They're gonna win, but they're gonna put up their points early. They're gonna go up 21-0 in the first half, and the Chargers are gonna struggle to come back into this game. They're gonna put up points late, but it's gonna be a feeble comeback attempt. 13 for the Chargers.
I like that. I like that. A little bit of a Packers game feel to it is what you're calling for here. I've got Lions 31, Chargers 20. I think the Chargers defense is a little bit of an issue. No joke coming off the edges with Bosa and Mack, but the pass protection has been unbelievable. With I think Sewell is one of the top rated tackles in the NFL as far as pass protection. Decker was playing on his head last week against the Raiders, so I think the Lions offense is going to click. And despite how bad of a team Brandon Staley is, the Chargers still have a good offense. So I think they find a way to put up 20 points. But I do agree with Andrew. I think some of that comes in garbage time.
All right. Yeah, I was a little bit concerned when I watched the Monday night game, saw how terrorizing that Charger defensive line was with Bosa and Mack, but albeit against a banged up and lowly Jets offensive line. So I'm just trying to tell myself, take that with a grain of salt, and that the Lions O-line, especially at full strength, will have the answers to chalk that up and do kind of what they did against Max Crosby with Joey Bosa, right? That's how I feel.
I would say expect a lot of screens from the Lions offense.
Ooh, okay. And hopefully Jared doesn't throw too many of those in the danger zone of intentional grounding.
I've had about enough pick sixes on the year. Don't know about you guys. Had enough of those.
Yeah, let's start a new interceptionless streak off. How about that? Let's clean it up. Right, you were playing so well.
We get the no injuries in the workplace counter up on the board.
One day.
Ooh, I like that.
One
games without a pick six.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, let's close the chapter there and go to Week 10 in the NFL. The rest of the slate. Records recap: I went 9-5. Andrew went 7-7. Mitch went 9-5. So no gain, no loss for this week between Mitch and I. Just a 2-game differential once again. So I'm at 88-48. Andrew's at 74-62, and Mitch is at 90. First one at 90. He's 90-46. And if we compare that to the numbers from an expert from the Sporting News, he was going 95-40. I'm not sure why he has one less game than us, but just to tell you that these three schmucks on this podcast are doing just about as well as the so-called experts out there. So who's to say that we aren't the experts, right?
Or we're all schmucks.
In a world of schmucks, be a muck. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. But real quick, before we talk about these games, what do you guys think about the Dolphins? Obviously lost this week to the Chiefs. A lot of people jumping on the hate bandwagon for the Dolphins, calling them frauds. What do you think about the Dolphins, real quick?
I don't think they're frauds necessarily. I think they played in Germany, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a little bit to do with the travel. They probably, I saw a couple penalties were called in another language. They sounded like they didn't really know what was going on. They're just getting called for random calls is probably what they thought. So probably a little biased. I think they're going to be just fine. I'm sure they'll bounce back. They almost seem like they're going to be a Mike Tomlin team and not lose 2 in a row. Bad on me if they've already lost 2 in a row. I'm sorry. But I don't think they're frauds at all. I think they're going to bounce back.
Frauds is probably a little extreme. I don't think they are a Super Bowl contender. I think they're a good team. I think they're a playoff team. But I don't think they're a deep playoff threat. Let me read you guys their schedule really quickly. Raiders win. Jets win if Zach Wilson is still playing, so I don't think Rodgers will be back. So Raiders win, Jets win, Commanders win, Titans win. But then they got to play Jets, probably with Rodgers back, Cowboys, Ravens, Bills. So they've got a pretty brutal schedule to end the season. So I don't think they're frauds, but I think they limp into the playoffs with, I don't know, how many wins do they have right now, Benjamin?
6-3.
Yeah, so I think they limp in at 10-7. Maybe get
Ooh.
the wild card spot.
Ooh. So you don't see him winning that division? Who wins that division then? The Jets or the Bills?
Yeah, I guess they could. I don't know because I don't think the Bills are that good either. I think
Right.
it really does depend on when the Jets come back, and it's not even so much that it's Aaron Rodgers. It's just when Aaron Rodgers comes back, it's not so much that it's injuries. It's just that it's anyone but Zach Wilson. So I'm
Yeah.
not. I think it's up for grabs, big time. No,
Yeah.
no, I think the Patriots will do it.
Yeah. From the
Now we're
depths,
talking.
Belichick and the Patriots, surface as champions. That would be funny. Andrew, anything you want to say about Joshua Dobbs? I'll let you have a little segment here. I know you love Josh Dobbs, obviously the former Lion, the once great Lion, now a Minnesota Viking showing his magic.
I mean, I've been high on him all year. He came into Arizona. He did his thing. He played his heart out. I mean, really kind of just put it on the wall. And it's like, yeah, I don't care if I'm not with this team next year, next week, doesn't matter. I'm just going to go out there and play. And then he gets traded to Minnesota, really doesn't think he's going to play. And it's kind of just a feel good story. You know, the guy who comes from UT, not a big school, right? I mean, Tennessee's a big school, but like in the grand scheme of things, really not a powerhouse when it comes to football. Sorry if there's some Tennessee fans out there that are gonna chastise me for that one. But he bounces around to several different teams, and now it seems like Minnesota is going to absolutely embrace him, and it honestly feels scary because it feels Cinderella story like for them. And they're the only ones vying for the NFC. We talked about it at the beginning of the year that the Vikings were going to be that thorn in our side all season long since we play them 2 times in the last 3 weeks of the year. Um, so hopefully they just get put down early. I'm glad he had his feel good story, but sorry, Dobbs, but it's got to end here.
And they're getting Justin Jefferson back. He's in this 21-day window right now to return from the IR, so that's tough. Mitch, did we lose you? You still there?
I'm here, baby.
Okay, you froze there for a minute. Now I see you again. Live from the kitchen now. I like the change of scenery. That's nice.
Yeah, the little guy's got to go out. You know, who am I to stop him?
I'm about to have a new little guy in your life too, right?
We don't know the sex.
Oh,
Don't
that's
know the
true.
sex.
My bad. Yeah, no, that's true. We don't know.
Unless you've seen my chart, I don't know.
No, have not. I don't have access to your data. That would be a HIPAA violation if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know if you looked at the schedule here, Mitch, but I've got you queuing us up first in Week 10 on Thursday Night Football.
I did look. You guys have me second guessing one of my later picks. So, yeah, Thursday Night Football in the WFC game of the week, Panthers at Bears. Just an all-time stinker. We've got mid to upper 40s clear, 10 to 15 miles an hour on the wind. Catch this on Amazon Prime Video. If you don't have it, just ask your friends for their login. Justin Fields is still out, so it's still the Bajent show. That being said, I think I like the Panthers as abysmal as Bryce Young has been playing and just not taking care of the ball. I don't think the Bears are that big of a threat, especially without Justin Fields.
Justin Fields is listed as doubtful, not out. Although Eberflus is very confused on what those two meanings are because he is very clearly out, but refuses to list him as out, I guess. Not sure. Normally, I would take the Panthers in this situation if they were playing anybody other than the Bears. And I would think the Bears would tank to let anybody beat them. But since they get the Panthers pick, I think the Bears are going to go out and actually try to win one.
Yeah, hate this one. This one's kind of making me want to go take the Panthers, but I've got the Bears. Really want to take Bryce Forever Young in this one. It just feels like the Panthers' opportunity to get a second win, but I don't know. It's at the Bears, and Bajent has proven to be bad or good depending on the day of the week. So I like him here in prime time and get the ball to that weapon, DJ Moore, and hoping for a Bears victory so I can get a game here on Mitch.
Can we get a trajectory? What's our geographic location in Germany? Where are we going to be zoning in here?
Frankfurt.
We're coming in from Frankfurt, Germany on the NFL Network. Colts at Patriots. I got a retractable roof question here. Is there a retractable roof here in Germany as well? And does Ursay have a say in it? Mitch.
I didn't think that was a question. I think that was a statement from Tommy.
Fair?
So I'm going to assume that the roof is indeed retractable.
And is it retracted?
I plead the fifth.
Okay. That being said, I'm going to take the Patriots. Travel discipline alone. I just think that Bill Belichick's going to get his guys in line. Gardner Minshew's more of a take a van, take like a week and a half to get there kind of guy, and he might be late for the game.
He might not have a passport, to be honest. But as long as Minshew's playing in this game, give me the Magic, give me the Colts.
Yeah, I'm with Andrew on this one. I don't know. I think as bad as Mac Jones is, I think the Patriots might be better than their record shows. And it just feels like one that they'll win for some reason. I go with Andrew. I go with the Pats.
All right. Browns at the Ravens in an AFC North battle. Literally a battle here. Ravens to the top of this division, but the Browns, Bengals, and Steelers all quickly and not far behind. So I think we're going to call for a Ravens regression game here. It's going to be a comeback to earth game for the Ravens. They're going to struggle in this one. It's going to be a close one, and we're going to be talking about a Browns victory by a field goal or a touchdown.
I disagree. I think the Ravens' strength this year is when they play good teams. We talked about it Sunday. They made their statement games out of two of the, I think, what people believe are playoff teams in the Lions and the Seahawks. So I think the Ravens keep it going against good teams and they find a way to get on.
Yeah, I think the Ravens have been rocking and a rolling, and it's not just because they beat the Lions. I will say, though, I think that's finally going to come to an end, and these injuries are finally going to catch up to them. We've seen Lamar not finish seasons, a little knock on wood for him, but they had a lot of injuries early on in the year, and I think they're just going to finally catch up to them.
Texans, Bengals, CBS, 1 p.m. slot still, 55 degrees, mainly sunny. This is Ben's Super Bowl pick. I think Texans and Bengals. Don't know how that doesn't make any sense.
The
Ben, they're
Bengals.
both in the AFC, so you can't have the Texans and the Bengals in the Super Bowl. So it's just silly. I like the Bengals here. I think the Bengals have definitely found their groove. Joe Burrow is looking like his old self, and as amazing as CJ Stroud has been, I just think the Bengals complete team.
Yeah, I agree, Mitchell. Bengals finally hitting their stride. It's a team that actually knows what playoff football looks like as well. The Texans haven't sniffed it in a while. And CJ Stroud, it's a little bit of comeback to earth game.
I had written down the Texans in this one and changed it, so I hope that my gut is wrong. I've got the Bengals here because I looked at the remaining schedule. Obviously, I had a lot of losses off the bat, so in order for them to keep pace in the AFC, as they are tracking on the Ravens and other teams, right? If they want to win that division or be a wild card in the AFC, they got to keep winning games, and they got to win an easy one here against the Texans, a lower ranked team, because they've got some tougher teams down the stretch. So I'll take the Bengals to keep the train rolling.
All righty, that's going to roll us to the 49ers going into Jacksonville. Duval. Another 1 p.m.er on Fox. This is going to be 69.5 degrees, partly cloudy, 30% chance of rain, which is probably, about a 10% chance of hurricane weathers. Jags coming off a bye, and I'm going to say the Jags, not a good team officially. I feel bad saying that, but give me the 50s.
Wow. I got to recover from what I just heard. Jaguars are a good team, but they're on a win streak right now, and the 49ers are on a losing streak, so something's got to give. We're going to get the 49ers back in the win column. They're still good. They're going to prove that. And the Jaguars are going to cool down, but remain hot and be a playoff team still.
Everyone needs to mark this down. Andrew specifically said the Jags are not a good team. I think me and Ben just had very similar reactions on camera, like, what just happened? I do think the 49ers get one back here. Similar to what Ben said about the Eagles, the 49ers got to get back in the win column off the bye. So I think it's big for them to get healthy and kind of figure out a way to get their season back on track. So I think it's going to be a good game. I think 49ers figure it out. But again, the Jags, I am firmly in good team camp.
All right, moving right along. We've got the Saints going at the Vikings in Minnesota, 1 o'clock on Fox. Note here for you shareholders in Michigan, this is the game that you will see on Fox, on your local Fox station at 1 o'clock. So when the Lions are, while you're waiting for the Lions to take action at 4:05, you can watch this one on your local Fox station. It's a good scouting game. Lions got to play both of these teams down the stretch. So all that said, I've got the Vikings here to continue the roll. Take the Sinners over the Saints.
This is the one you guys had me second guessing. I think you guys had me almost convinced on the Dobbs magic, but I said this. I don't think the Saints are a very good team. That said, for some reason I think the magic is going to actually run out. I think the Saints figure out a way to get it done. I think it'll be a good game. This one makes me feel icky, so I'm not sure about it. But the key to this game is Taysom Hill. The Saints are finding new ways to get Taysom Hill involved, and I think that's going to be the difference maker.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting game and one of those games that we're all going to need to scout. I'm glad that Fox is putting this on the Michiganders station here. So everybody get their recording devices out. Hell, go to the game if you want. Get as many signs as you can and send them directly to the Lions front office, please. We're going to need it. That all being said, I can't pick the Saints. So Dobbins has to last one more.
Ben, does that make you nervous?
No, not at all. I've got a couple here where I've been standing strong with Papa and feeling nothing more than strongly confident.
Okay, Andrew doesn't have the best luck with his Saints picks.
He's a second half
That's all I'm
team.
saying.
He's a second half team. I'm feeling confident that he, off the bye, off his trip, little birthday trip, that he's got a newfound wisdom.
All right. Packers and Steelers. I believe this is the second to last game in the 1 o'clock slot on CBS. 50 degrees, partly cloudy. I, again, don't think the Steelers are a great team, but they do have TJ Watt. The Packers are not good, so I think the Steelers send them packing.
Yeah, this one's going to be Steel Curtain takes over Jordan Love. I think TJ Watt, probably has 2 strip sacks in this game. Steelers at home, you just got to take them.
Steelers.
That's going to bring us right around to the Tighties at Buccaneers. 1 p.m., 85 degrees. My goodness, Florida, good for you. Mostly cloudy, 20% chance of umbrellas with raindrops, guys. That all being said, I like the Baconeers. God, I hate saying it because I've been wrong every time I've said the Baconeers. But one more time for the Baconeers, give it to them.
Now that one doesn't make me confident in taking the Bucs here, but I'm gonna take the Bucs. They've got to save their season. They need a win here desperately if they want to keep pace in that shitty NFC South. So the Bucs got to get a win here. They need one. They'll get one here against the Titans.
I'm with you guys. I say it all the time. Whenever Andrew picks the same team as Ben, you got to ride. We all ride together. Except something maybe isn't right because I have so many more wins than you guys. But I'm with you here. I like the Bucs.
Well. Let's go to the bird battle in the 405 window. The first one in the 405 here, along with the Lions game. Falcons are heading out to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Matt Smith, a.k.a. Arthur Smith, has shaved his mustache, so trying to create some new magic there for Atlanta. Little known fact, he's actually the son of the FedEx founder or the founding family of FedEx. So he's a spoon kid.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, I saw
Silver
that.
spoon.
And did you see that, Andrew?
No, and this makes me hate him so much more. And can we just talk about bad teams shaving? Bad team coaches shaving? We got Brandon Staley and whatever this guy's name is. I honestly care this much less about his name now that I know this.
Ben,
Wow.
is that I feel like I respect him a little more because he's kind of he's a success when he really didn't have to do anything.
Arthur? Yeah, well, I don't know. I feel like this was just like, well, I guess I'll be a coach. I don't have to do anything. So I'll just,
Something.
I guess I'll take over coaching. I don't know. I think we're gonna have Kyler Murray back though in this one for the Cardinals. This is also a WFC nominee game of the week. I've got the Falcons. This is my lowest confidence pick of the week. I have no idea what to do with this game.
I'm with you. I do think, despite having Kyler Murray back, it's like the Falcons are going to be. The Falcons are also one of those teams that are going to finish within one or two of 500. I think they have to bounce back this week and figure out a way to get it done. I do like the Falcons this week, but Andrew is convincing me on a weekly basis that Arthur Smith is not going to be around for that much longer.
Thank you, Mitch. I respect that. I respect you so much more. I'm glad we can finally find some common ground when it comes to that, man. But when I saw the news that Kyler Murray was back, that's the only reason I'm going to take the Cardinals. And it's going to be solely on that other teams haven't seen him this year, and the Falcons aren't going to be ready for him. Nobody knows what he's going to be like coming out of his injury, if he's going to have his full speed or not. So I think he's just going to get take him by surprise and eke this win out.
So you think Kyler Murray gives them a better chance to win than Josh Dobbs?
No, absolutely not. But I don't think they're ready for Kyler Murray, and it's going to be like the Lamar Jackson and NFC effect.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. I just want to make sure we weren't back on like the Bills Josh Allen situation we ran into earlier this year.
Not so much that, but I do think that Lamar in the NFC thing is a real thing.
It's legit. Yeah, it's legit for sure. Giants and Cowboys. I last year this probably would have been an exciting game. This year, not so much. Cowboys Giants season is over. I think the Giants may end up with the number one pick. This was Andrew's Super Bowl pick. BT Dubs, the Giants. What was it? It was Giants and who?
I think it was the
Who was
Giants.
the other
I
one?
think it was the Giants and the Bengals.
Jags.
No, it wasn't the
Wait,
Jags. I think it was the Bengals.
Jags would be hilarious. That would be all time Andrew to be like, Jags, not a good team. But I think you're right, Ben. I think it was Bengals and Giants. But yeah, the Giants season is over, and the Cowboys lost a tough one last week. I think they get it done in a big way this week.
Yeah, to be fair, the Giants season is over, not due to skill level, but mainly injuries. And then, when they're starting right or left tackle, whatever his name is, Evan Neal, makes comments like that, you know that the season is just a wash. And makes all the reasoning more that Dan should have won Coach of the Year last year. All
Boom.
that being said, this is my don't overthink it. The Cowboys are definitely taking this one.
Same. Cowboys, take me away.
That's bringing the old Washington Commanders into Lumen Field to take on the Seahawks. 4:25 on Fox, 52 degrees. Here's rainy Seattle. Now we got it. And I think Gino, I think this one's just too easy. The Commanders, sorry, it's just once again not your year. Maybe change your name and try again next year.
Going to take the Seahawks at home. It seems like an obvious choice here. Maybe a little too obvious, but I got the Seahawks.
To you guys, Seahawks got absolutely crushed by the Ravens last week. We talked about the Ravens, and I think the Seahawks get it done. And the Commanders traded away their two best defensive players, so they're mailing it in.
Moving us to Sunday Night Football, Jets at the Raiders on NBC. Some people calling this a bad matchup. I actually think this is not a bad matchup. I think this is actually two teams fighting at it to try to prove something here. Jets trying to stay in that playoff race without Aaron Rodgers, and the Raiders trying to ride the Antonio Pierce head coach, interim coach bump. So with that said, I've got the Raiders here. We saw how much of an animal that Max Crosby is, and he's going to go off against the Jets, who cannot block water. And Max Crosby may have his best game of the year. He's just going to go off, and so is that Raiders team. I've got the Raiders here against the Jets.
Yeah, interesting that you say. It's interesting that you say by water. Because I think the Antonio Pierce magic is going to run out. I think we talked about it. They tried to pound the rock last, and even then, Josh Jacobs still had less than 4 yards. So you say by water, and like I always say, one if by land, two if by sea. I've got the Jets.
Oh, Mitchell, that's just an incredible joke. You must have put in your heart and soul into that one. Don't know if you guys have kept up to date on all the hate Antonio Pierce is getting as the interim. People calling it a joke that Roger Goodell allowed Antonio Pierce to be an interim head coach here with his background. So I don't really get it. I thought it was, yeah, Mitchell, what do you got?
What's his background? What's going on? Ben, you saw this? You don't seem surprised. I didn't see any of this.
I thought he was going with a hook, line, and sinker. He was trying to get us on a bait here.
Is this three if by dirt? What's going on here?
No. This is modern warfare tactics. No,
Nice.
it was a few articles came out. Apparently, he was with Pac-Man when he shot himself in the club. Not only did he do that, he took him to a hospital, administered him under a fake name, and then dipped out with the gun and refused to hand it over to cops. It was a whole ordeal. Then, went to the game the next day like nothing happened. So he had a few things like that. There was a couple articles I was reading about it, but people not happy that he's allowed to be an interim. All that by being
No
said,
idea.
Mitchell, I'm with you. Paul Revere was right. Two if by C. Give me the Raiders.
So not with me.
Well, on the Paul Revere Modern Warfare, yes.
I see. Okay. Finishing out the week, we got Broncos as Monday Night Football. Man, I don't know. I think right away I picked the Bills. Oh, I'm sorry. 35 degrees, 15% chance of
Rain.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Bills figure it out. The Bills are just having that up and down season where they can't figure it out. They've got to win this one if they want to keep up as we look at the AFC East and we get closer to the end of the season. I think it's going to be an ugly, ugly game. I think this is going to be a very boring Monday Night Football game. And if I'd have to look at the over/under, try to get that while you guys are making your picks, but we might have less than 40 total points on Monday night.
I was going to guess the over/under at 41, yeah.
Mitchell, I don't know if that's 15% chance of rain or 15% chance that Broncos could actually win this game. I think the Bills are going to lasso these Broncos, attach them to their wagons, and ride them all the way into the playoffs. They're going to use this game as a springboard, get their season back on track, get that locker room in order again, and make a push for the playoffs.
Wow, over/under at 47 is typed in here by Mitch. Give me the under all day long on that. I feel like there's no way this is getting above 47 combined. But I've got a Bills victory in this one. Bills are going to get a much needed win here. All right, let's go to college football. Week 11 in college football. Those of you who didn't catch Sunday's episode, go back and listen to it. We had a college football expert come on. Did a great job. Andrew, you got to be kind of a casual observer of the last episode, not appearing on it. What did you think of the appearance from Drew, the college football expert?
I hate to give him too much props or else my job may be in danger, but honestly, it sounds like he was a little too relaxed. Should probably take the gig a little more serious. Maybe come in a suit and tie next time, buddy. Nah, he did a great job. Gave us some really good insight into what's going on in college football, kind of like what every other team's doing, what the potential punishments could look like. As the casual observer, like you say, and the casual college football observer, I know nothing. Will say, on the college football side, we were in Chicago, didn't realize Iowa was going to be taking on Northwestern at Wrigley Field. Really wanted to make it, didn't. But I think my voice went hoarse with the "Go Hawks" on sidewalks.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. That was a typical Northwestern Iowa game. I think it was 0-0 at halftime. So nothing, nothing short of spectacular there. Fireworks all around. Yeah. And you said you know nothing about the situation, but now that you've listened to the last episode, you know everything, right? That's the kind of content that you get here on the Lions Share.
Absolutely. That's why I'm fully clued in. That's why we need the shareholders to be watching that Saints Vikings game. Get all those signals.
Yep. We've all got a little Connor Stallions in our heart. That's right. Yep. Yep. We all got a little bit in there. All right. We got Michigan taking on Penn State this week. Mitch, go to you for this one. How do you feel about this game? Don't need an in-depth on this one, but you think we're talking about a Michigan victory here?
I think so. I think the locker room is rallying around all of the outside noise. They keep thumping people week after week. We've talked about it. They haven't really played anyone, but I think everything that's going on is unifying the locker room even more. I think Michigan gets it done in pretty convincing fashion against Penn State.
Agreed. I think it'll be obviously Michigan's toughest test of the year for sure thus far. Going into Happy Valley, but big noon kickoff. We're gonna have Gus Johnson on the call here with Joel Klatt. Always a good matchup. Always great. I'm excited to watch it. Excited to see hopefully a Michigan Wolverine victory here as they trudge on and have Ohio State coming up in a few weeks. So let's close this chapter of the Lions Share Walkthrough Wednesday. We've got the Lions taking on the Chargers on Sunday. We'll see you all on Sunday for a recap of the Lions and the Chargers and Week 10 in the NFL. Let's go Lions. Let's go 405 Warriors. Remember, folks, this one's at 405.
Meow.
Since I've been on here. Take it to the bank. That was concise.